We have our third game of the day coming your way. It is going to be Dusty versus BTXL, another important game in Group A. Obviously, towards the end of the day, we'll see how these results have affected the standings, but Dusty really do need this win to keep those playoff dreams alive.
Yeah, they most certainly do. And the thing is, they're playing Nordovin later this week. So if they can win today and if they can beat Nordovin, then they have the head-to-head against Nordovin as well, with the standings going as they are. So monumental once again for one of these teams to secure this. And BTXL already secured playoffs. So if you want to test something, now's the time to do it, just for kind of scrimming an official. Or if you don't want to, come out with too many strats, too many picks, well, you can just take it easy because you are already secured.
Yeah, this is, for me, the game where I expected the upset. I would say we've already seen an upset today with Tricked versus Godsent. I think most people predicted Tricked, and Godsent came out on top of that one. So I think, obviously BTXL, the strongest team we have in Group A, and it's not going to be easy for Dusty to win. But, I think they've really found their form recently. And it's not the same Dusty that we were seeing at the beginning of the split, which really wasn't that impressive. And I really liked what I've seen out of them, and I want to see if they can keep it going. However, I'm also very red side biased today. Red side has won every single game, and it is BTXL on red side, so there is that.
So with this ban coming out so far, Seraphine and Olaf, even Pantheon for that matter, for sure is going to be up. So Seraphine is going to be the champion banned out, and Kaiser off the table as well on that ban table, so on that ban. So if you are gonna go for a jungle pick, you could just opt into it now. But high priority onto this center and first pick, not something we've seen before. So Dusty must really prioritize this AD carry.
Yeah, that is kind of surprising. We haven't seen such high priority on center in the past, have we? Maybe I'm misremembering, but that's pretty up there. They must have something in mind. Maybe they really don't want Deadly playing it. Something that does kind of worry me a teeny bit. Of course, we talked about how Red Side does have, it has been the winning side so far today. And I think specifically for BTXL, getting that counter pick, I think Arome is like the best player we have in NLC, like just straight up. And if you can get him a counter pick and top, that can be absolutely vile considering Flaxish. For me, he has played better recently, but he was looking like one of the weaker top laners. So this is one of those things where it's going to get a little bit hairy. We are seeing the Lily and the Rel being locked in here. Rel is an interesting one because Senna is quite short range. She has sustain and poke, but Rel just wants to go in, and I think that Rel is actually a really good pick into the center.
Yeah, so I think Senna is really a champion that has flourished specifically in this meta because of not because of the engage she necessarily has, but because of how much disengage she has in her kit. And this is really an engage meta with the dog power comes, as we call it, named by Foxtrot, of course. So it's just the fact that you have your ultimate into a stun, into a knock-on, and it's perfect. On the side of Dusty, though, they opt into some disengage themselves. You get the sleep, you get the Gragas barrel, and you got loads of opportunities to play around the composition with Dusty now. And this Gragas obviously could be a flex pick towards the bottom where you can cancel the knock-up from well if you body slam it. So fine picks coming out so far, but it's as you said, Foxtrot, like you will have to find a blind pick from Flaxish on the next rotation. So you should for sure try to opt into banning away some of the counters to that blind pick you're having in mind.
Yeah, and we're seeing Lucian being taken away there as well. So it seems as though BTXL are gonna I was gonna say they might opt into something like the Twisted Fate in the mid, and they just don't want to play versus the Lucian, because Hatrix has played a lot of Twisted Fate. He's pretty good on like the control mages as well. Wouldn't be too surprised to see like the Oriona's coming out from him, maybe even something like the Galio, depending on what we see in that top lane. I'm not really Galio will be alright, I guess, this combo. It's not screaming anything at me, but
nah, he's always nice, but definitely not like where you're thinking that's the priority pick we need right here. But right. I think control mage, if you want for Hatrix, it could just be fine for opting into that pressure. And then, as you said yourself, like if you can get a Roman counter pick, that's perfect against Flaxish. Or if you're just betting on them having Gragas top, then that's also a thing.
Yeah, Gragas top would be interesting actually. That would be a nice flex by Dusty. I'm not quite. I'd put my money on it being in the bot lane. I think it's fair to say we both assume it to be in bot side, but definitely could be a top laner. It has been one of those, especially as like a going into a Romy. I feel like Dusty plays best when Flaxish is weak side, and Gragas is like the king of weak side, right? So if you do want to stick him in the top side, Zeromi is going to blind pick this Gnar here. I don't think it's necessarily a terrible matchup.
So that kind of puts on the pressure on Flaxish as well, because if we assume this Gragas is going towards the bot side as the flex, then you have the counter pick. And now, traditionally speaking, in our league, is something that Flaxish has struggled to play against. He even had the Jace into Gnar matchup and lost it, and that's kind of the first time we heard about Flaxish going downhill. But he's opting into the matchup we've already seen Nilla play. Didn't go too well for him later into the game, but obviously there's still something to play for. You do have the Senna bot lane, which is a AD carry you can for sure weak side with, but this is Flaxish really being brave going up against the Rome here. And Foxtrot, you do not look
I'm not
happy.
feeling it. I'm not feeling it. Okay, firstly, I predicted you guys. Okay, why are you doing like this? Secondly, like we've seen this time and time again. The beginning of the split here, the NLC, where Flaxish got put on a carry pick. They played through him, never worked. Like not only was he never able to, like they were able to get him like kills in the lane. Specifically when Chill was like playing things like Talia Camille combos and stuff like that, but he just never had any kind of impact outside of that. And I really think Dusty thrives when he's playing weak side top. You cannot pick Irelia into Gnar and just do pure weak side. I just don't think it works, and I think it puts a lot of pressure on Flaxish, a lot of responsibility on Flaxish to really just have his carry pants on today. And I'm not 100% certain whether those pants fit him. And there it is.
That is the baby rage right there, ladies and gentlemen. All right, but going into these compositions, like I think that now when you have the Irelia, yeah, there's something you can side lane for, but you don't really have to set up for a 1-3-1 composition at the same time. And on the side of BTXL, if you get out of laning phase, you have way better utilities for these team fights. You got great disengage in the rail and engage if you are gonna want to go in onto Gnar. So for Dusty, it's definitely making Flaxish have success. Try to snowball this lane so he's someone that you can't deal with. Make sure that even in team fights he's so fed that he stays ahead of the curve, so you can play around him with the Senna that can just catch up by farming up herself, getting that items and put them in a comfortable spot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, seeing Scandal's kid just being as upset as I am, really, except I'm just not at the age where I'm allowed to do that anymore, so I can't get away with it. But I feel you, mate. I feel you. That already locking.
He's very grumpy. I'm going to hand it over to our casters, and I'm going to go do ungrumpifying. I'll see you soon.
Rupert.
Picking his nose like father, like son. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the caster desk. I'm getting flamed in my ears right now. I don't know if you can hear that. We're getting ready to go into game number 3 between
the ultimate baby
XL.
rage.
Oh man, baby rage. Okay, so what do you make of this Irelia pick then? The desk weren't so keen on it this time around.
All right, so when I do see Irelia, I like 2 conditions. 1, I like to see other members diving in with her, so like a dive comp. And 2, I'd like to see a split push composition where you just snowball your Irelia and it's going to take multiple people to stop her. And right here, I don't necessarily see that because XL also have a really strong top side together with the Nidalee as well. So they will be able to sort of point it down and take it down if they want to at this point. What I want to point out here is, of course, that Pedersen and Hoyes was the lane that pulled Dusty out of their pit the last time. It was that bot lane that snowballed. It was Kai'Sa and Gragas in the previous game. And I have my hopes up that possibly this duo can do it again.
Well, we're on to the Rift for game number 3. It's an important one for Dusty. XL, not as important. They're in a pretty good spot right now. Obviously, a win is a win, and there are still teams who technically could catch them. Actually, there isn't. No, there isn't. The best they can do is get tied by some of the teams. And I think they have a lot of head-to-heads. So I think XL are pretty comfortable. Definitely, if they win this, though, nobody can catch them in the standings. So XL, honestly, looking really, really good here.
Yeah, absolutely. I will agree also with the analyst test where they're like, BTX will have to show nothing until playoffs. They have to do nothing. They can just play textbook League of Legends like they have been. Their macro has looked immaculate. The only thing I'm going to point out is that on that one loss that Excel has, it was Orome losing through the top side. It was Orome on the Na. It was the opponent team perma ganking him and camping him on the top side. And with the Aurelia matchup, you do have the likes to do that. You're just gonna have to make sure that at whatever time, you know where the Nidalee is. You pinpoint the Nidalee down so you don't have to play into it.
And I'm very glad you mentioned Marcoon, because this guy has been just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. First split on the team. I think, am I right in saying it's his first professional competitive split?
No, he's played in the Nordics before in 2019.
Oh yeah, he did play in the Nordics, you're right, yeah. 18 years old though, very young. And honestly, really, really good stuff from him. He has been just performing incredibly well for the entirety of the split. And, you know, normally when you have kind of one of these young players, there's a bit of kind of like, oh, we'll make sure we look after them. But honestly, he's just kind of looked after XL. He has played phenomenally.
Yeah, absolutely. I also do like the start from Marcoon right here, because they know that their win conditions from the side of Dusty lies with the Aurelia. The Aurelia is pushing really hard, knowing that her jungler is going to end up top lane. But as you can see, Marcoon is ahead. He's clearing his jungle much faster. Also, a ward by hat-tricks on the wraiths of Chelm actually spotted him, so they know exactly the time right there. And they need to get that Nidalee up at the top lane faster. Oh, the trade.
Yeah, Rome needs to be very careful. Hasn't got that level 3 yet, so it doesn't have doesn't have the hyper stacks, although Flaxesh is pretty low, so he does need to be a little careful as Marcoon is sniffing around. Not going to find him though, as Flaxesh needs to be a little careful. There is a ward in that forward bush.
It was cleared up instantly. There was a ward from Flaxesh down in the river. It was cleared instantly, so you don't necessarily know if the Nidalee is going to stay around, because Flaxesh right now is trying to crush the wave so he can take a cheetah and recall and not have to use his teleport. This is why you see Chelm sort of babysit the top side. He needs to crush that wave in. Orome is not letting him though.
Yeah, Rome is holding it here. Chelm spotted out on the wall, so Rome knows he's about, but the fact he's about to get Mega Gnar, he's actually about to get a whole load of health. So he feels comfortable to kind of stay in the lane for the moment and continue to be annoying, while Marcoon goes, all right, top lane, there's a lot of tension there. I'm just going to go for the double scuttle. He's making his way down.
This is a big fight for wave management, because while all this was going on, Chelm had to babysit Flaxesh to push his wave, which was very unsuccessful, so it's frozen literally in front of Orome's tower. Marcoon is like, great, you're doing great in your trade, I'm just going to take top Scuttle Crab, sprints down mid lane, goes bot side, takes that Scuttle Crab, and this is sort of how it starts with Marcoon every single time. He manages to get every single beat he can, every single step you can give him, he'll take 2 of them, and slowly but surely he'll be so far ahead that he can dictate the entire pace of the game. And I will 100% agree with you, this split for him has looked incredible, and it is basically his chance to show that he's LEC worthy with VDXL.
Romy gets slowed down, does take the Q from Chelm as well on the way out, but
again though,
to survive
look
that,
bot side,
heals.
Look at Marcoon, he saw Lilia top side, went straight into Wraiths, not leaving a single inch to be taken away. Leaves one chicken right there, ultimate disrespect.
He did lose his Krugs to Chelm, so they're actually tied as in the amount of camps available to them, but Marcoon is currently farming while Chelm was using a lot of his time in this top side trying to unfreeze this wave and deal with Orome. But Orome able to dodge away, and now he's starting to feel pretty comfortable versus Flaxesh here. Winning this trade whole-handedly thanks to that hyper proc. One more auto is going to give him a nice, juicy trade. And now Marcoon's about. One good spear actually could just be the death of Flaxesh from Marcoon, although not even going to look for it.
This has been the name of the game for Flaxesh for a lot of these games right now. Him getting counter picks and not being able to execute on the spot on these. The Jace into the Na, now the Aurelia into the Na. It's just not going very well for him. Orome is handling his waves so beautifully together with his trades. Marcoon is there, but he doesn't have to necessarily waste time. Till now, he has a chance for a gank right here, but the wave is just too big for them to completely disregard that. He has to farm it away, which means Chelm is still wasting time up in the top side because there's nothing for him to farm over there.
Yeah, Marcoon continuing to farm. CS lead between the jungles actually is equal right now. Both of them running the Verdant Banner. A lot of Verdant Banners actually in this game, a lot of AP. I guess Hat-Trick's great fancy feet there. Shuffles Chelm underneath his tower. Chelm has to flash away his Hat-Tricks. Kind of gets a pretty sick outplay in the mid lane, whatever lane he's in. I turned into an EDM bot there for a minute.
Currently, he's in the mid lane, and that was actually really well played. He managed to get the flash off of Chelm as well, which means that for the next fights to come, Chelm will not be able, when he's level 6, to get that huge Q into ultimate, into that dragon fight. And again, Marcoon, he's shadowing the correct lane. He's everywhere he needs to be. Now he's over to the bot side. They're trying to put down the pressure. They're trying to put down the space. They're possibly trying to dive.
It's quite hard to dive because Pedersen can interrupt Avian's charge, so I think that's just threatening and just laying a little bit more fear into this bot lane, letting them know that it could come. As Dragon is available. It looks like Markin, though, more interested in taking the crab, keeping the farming up, as his bot lane aren't going to go for the reset. Swifty Boots finished up for Deadly, along with the double longswords. Noon Quiver there for Hoys. And Reme with the steel-plated caps.
I still call them tabbies for some reason.
It's still tabbies to me. Don't worry.
Yeah.
There will always be tabbies to me.
It was so much easier. Why you do this, Riot?
The same item. I don't know why they needed changing. I guess thematically it doesn't really make sense, but I don't care.
I don't care either. It will always be tabbies in our hearts. All right, this is the time. This is the time, Hipbrain, where the resets have come in for the ADCs, and the supports are trying to get as much pressure and vision on the map as possible. Both Pedersen and Advian have laid down vision wards all over the bot side of the map. Now here's the question. The pressure is on both sides. The thing is, both Herald and Dragon is up and available. Marcoon, though...
Yeah, Flaxit, she is just going to get stunned, tries to turn it, but it's first blood for Arome.
I was about to say, whoever gets a kill on each side of the map, they're most likely forfeiting that specific objective, which in this case is going to be the refill. Once Hatrix is able to push that wave down the mid lane, he'll be able to join. I don't think Dusty can actually contest right here because, yes, Flaxis is back up and available, but doesn't have TP to join the fight instantly. Bot lane is being shoved in from the side of Dusty, so it's not like Chelm can actually make a run down for that dragon. So BTXL, again, one step ahead on the macro. Marcoon, the difference maker.
Marcoon doing all of the work. He's going to be able to get himself this rift. I'll say all the work. He's not doing all the work. I think Arome has actually handled this lane pretty well. But Marcoon doing a lot on the map, applying a lot of pressure, and he's just putting a bit of a chokehold in to Dusty. As Avian looking for Pedersen, is going to get the stun off into the Deadly Flourish. Just a light bit of poke for now. Magnet Storm was used by Avian. Pedersen has the cask, but isn't going to use it.
You know what? I'm really impressed you actually know Rel's ultimate's name.
I will talk about it in a minute, because Legions is going for a fight versus Hatrix. Chaos Storm, Tower Shot, still a lot of damage, but nobody's dying mid lane. Good shuffle by Hatrix, though. Once again, underneath his tower, but Marcoon has found Chelm once again, and Chelm's going to have to run to the wind.
That was very beautifully done by Hatrix, because that means that Dusty cannot contest with the dragon either. Again, a shove down bot, a shove down mid, a summoner down for Legions, doesn't have teleport to get back into the lane, which means he has to stay to clear that wave, which means he's gonna be down in HP, and they will not be able to contest the dragon. Need to help, push down that bot lane, and then move over to the mountain dragon.
Well, 10 minutes on the clock. It's a 1,000 gold lead here, there, about, for XL.
It's so filthily textbook here, Brain. So filthily textbook.
It really is. Marcoon's hovering around this bot side, making sure this lane shoves in nice and comfortably. Meanwhile, XL can now use the pressure they've accumulated. Wow, I can't speak apparently. Gained for themselves in the mid lane and the bot lane, and they can use that to turn it into a dragon. Pedersen goes for a cask, and Deadly is just bopped into the wall. He is safe.
I'm actually really surprised that this dragon is still standing, and one of these factors is the fact that Legion's got the blue. He survived that dive by Hatrix, and then he had the mana to keep on shoving the lane, which means Hatrix had to burn his entire mana pool to push the lane back without teleport. But now that both of the mid lanes have reset and you've got priority down bot, this is where Marcoon goes back in.
It's a fairly late dragon.
It is.
So 11 minutes in, they are playing it a bit more tempered. And keep in mind, this is an XL who, by the way, I did confirm. I should have remembered this because I said it last week to Advian when I spoke to him. XL have secured themselves playoffs. So, you know, it's not like they've got anything to lose here. I guess first place is the only thing they've really got to lose here. Hatrix goes for the longest slide and glide, but not going to find it.
Yeah, he'd have to flash there, and I don't think it's worth it because they're gonna have the Rift Herald in the mid lane anyway. They don't need to overextend for plays. They've got the shove down mid. They've got the TP top if they need to. Let's see.
Oh, there's the Magnet Storm. Legions is caught out. Railgun's not going to do enough here today, and XL find themselves the kill. There's a level 6 on Chelm. If he can find a good swirl seed, he might be able to do a little something. But Hatrix just going for a light fight versus Chelm, making sure nobody's going to sleep today.
Yeah, a couple of plates going down for BTXL. New Rift Herald is going to be up in a couple of minutes. They're going to be able to grab that and completely open up the mid lane, move their vision a little bit further in. It is just so clean coming in from BTXL. And we've talked about this over and over again with teams like Fnatic and BTXL. When they play against teams lower down in the rankings, we just want to see the clean game. We don't want to see the fiesta. We want to see them still keeping it to their true form, showing how dominant they can be. And right here, BTXL might not be popping off, but if you look around the map, top lane is meant to be a losing matter. 10 CS ahead, 1 kill up.
Legion's getting jumped onto here, shuffled back, caught out by all of the CC. Spear goes wide, but I don't think it really matters here. Hatrix has been locked down and put in. He might just go to sleep here from the Lilting Lullaby. Markin misses the spear. Hoyes comes in forward and finds himself the turnaround kill. So 1 for 1 so far. Markin trying to dodge as much as possible. There is no sleep available anymore, so he'll be able to get out from that one. And before we finish, I just want to quickly clarify, XL have secured first in their group. So Group A is already set on that front. So XL really playing with nothing to lose here, but they're still playing like there is something to lose.
If I did cast the curse anything, it would be that one, because we just praised Excel for playing textbook, playing very clean, very slow, very methodical. And this is where Hatrix completely dives into the jungle, shoves back Legions, but there's no play to follow up after that. Yes, you kill Legions, but there's nothing you can gain from that play. You cannot take mid lane. There is no dragons up. There's no red buff. There's like a few chickens up there, which Markun would have most likely taken anyway, and end up trading 1 for 1.
Arome, that was a little bit too overeager. Flaxish with the solo kill. The Gnar timed out just as Arome went in, and that burnt his flash and cost him his life.
Big cast the curse. Flaxis. Nile played the Aurelia as well, but Flaxis here managed to get their events, and that was a beautiful dash. That was a millisecond, and then Mega Knight just expired right before the ultimate came through. You're right. That was very unfortunate timing, which Oroma paid with his life.
Alexis Shurima goes up, and Hatrix will be able to push up with the Sun Disc to hide underneath for now.
A few overextensions, a few uncharacteristic overextensions by BTXL, which are instantly punished by Dusty. And obviously there is a scaling factor on the side of Dusty as well. They do have a pretty good team. They've got the engage right there. They've got the consistent damage, the AP and the AD. They've got the burst. They do have a pretty well-rounded team, same as BTXL do here. So you don't want to be giving away kills, especially to that Aurelia, that can at some point pop off and get your Jinx and your Aurelia, and your Nidalee in the backline. So I really like the fact that BTXL here focused on taking down the mid lane turret, because this will definitely unlock a lot more vision into Dusty's jungle and hopefully stop BTXL from overextending, because Dusty will be the ones choking for vision and searching Alfred, which means they will try to push through and maybe get caught.
Deadly doing what Deadly does best, which is standing underneath the tower, or staying alone in lane and just farming up. Hoyes is matching him though. This is something Hoyes also does. Both of these AD carries are fairly kind of self-sufficient, while their supports look to make plays around the map, as Stun's going to connect onto Arome. The Durson and Chelm waiting in the wings, but so many members of XL. Chelm jumps in forwards. He's gnarred back. The spear's going to connect, and Markoon gets interrupted by Pedersen, but Arome still finds the kill. Now it's Advian coming in on the flank. He's got the Magnet Storm. They've got the suck in. They can pull him back. The Railgun will give him a light shield, but the CC is just way too much, and the soldiers come down as Markoon secures the kill.
That was beautifully played again from BTXL that were just lurking right outside that vision point from Dusty. Dusty think they have the numbers advantage. They thought wrong. They did not. BTXL are taking 2 kills. They're going to take the top lane tower. They're going to take the Rift Herald. And hopefully with that, they can open up even more on the map. Again, BTXL were able to pull back. You see that when Dusty starts choking for vision, they try to make this place thinking they have the advantage, but BTXL are 1 step ahead.
Rift Herald, second one is going to get secured for XL here. No contest really going to come down. It does just feel like Dusty kind of out of options. They're trying to get something versus XL, but XL, every time a play is made by Dusty, XL just pull ahead a little bit more. And this is it. They look to try and dive top lane, and it went horrifically wrong.
Yeah, Oroma here does have the Mega Knight. When the spear lands as well, it's a done deal. Then again, Flax is all alone in the Aurelia. Pedersen is just on the Gragas support. He can't do much damage once the cast goes down. Shield by Senna is just not enough. You cannot 1v4. The Aurelia is just not far ahead enough. Just has Blade of the Ruin King, no mythic item yet. He was doomed. They took everything off of the map. Rift Herald is down as well. You can just use that for pressure in the lane because the next dragon has come up. Thus, they have to face check to try and stop that.
And it's actually the Night Harvester build from Markoon, so not the Moonstone. We've seen a few different builds, but obviously this is the I'm carrying now build. Look at me, I am the carry. Rift Herald's going to get summoned in the bot lane to take down this last tier 1 tower. Although I don't actually think it was necessary because that tower was already dead. They are going to use it for a second charge, though. Markoon's going to make sure that this does happen. They've got the Luden's Echo on Hatrick, so he's able to burst through the wave a little bit more effectively. And here comes that second charge. It may just be the second tower as well. Odds are we're not going to see a third charge. That Rift Herald is already on 300 health, so a little bit too low. And with the dragon up, XL are just going to move out and go grab that as Hoys. There's a bunch of marks.
Yep. Rinse and repeat. They're backing off, they're taking the dragon because Dusty have absolutely no vision. Within 3 minutes, BTXL have taken 3 towers of the map, the top tier 1 and both outer towers in the bot lane. They also have the mid lane tier 1 as well. Stacked up 2 dragons and it is going pretty peachy for them. 5,000 gold in the lead right now and most of the money must be lying towards the top side of the map. Let's see if Dusty can make a pick because they're slowly but surely getting choked out of any resources. They're getting choked out of vision. They're getting choked out of jungle because the second BTXL extends the vision, that means that all the jungle creeps will be belonging to the set of BTXL as well. So that Lilia, that farming jungler, will no longer have access to that.
Is equal in farm right now, though, to Markoon? Although, you know, oh my... Okay, don't worry. You know what? Markoon's got an item. That's the difference here.
Almost even. Almost even, he prayed.
Oh, lordy, lordy. This is starting to get pretty rough for Dusty as their tier 2 in the top side's going to crumble. There's only 1 tower now outside their base. The gold lead, gigantic. The individual gold leads, gigantic. It is genuinely starting to get harder and harder for Dusty to find themselves an opening in this game. Deadly just has a massive CS. He's got a 50 CS lead.
Difficult level of turning it around, gigantic.
You are honestly climbing Everest to get back into this game right now if you're Dusty.
Absolutely, absolutely. It is extremely hard. Markoon has 100% kill participation. Wherever this man is, someone dies. And he's played this game so cleverly again. Together with Arome, I want to give major props to Arome right here because the way he was managing his trades, his waves up in the top lane versus Flaxis, not giving him a chance to accelerate on that Aurelia, not giving him any chance in the lane at all, together with Markoon's pathing and ganking and being around whichever lane is needed to be. It is absolutely genius. Major props. This BTXL team is looking like a complete different beast. If you talk about any other BTXL, it was all about the Deadly show. Now the entire team is popping off.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big difference, is it's the flexibility. We saw a little bit over the end of last split was an XL who were willing to play around more than just Deadly. But this is like the final form of what they were kind of practicing in summer. This is XL now realized exactly how to play around all of their individual members. And it's still, Deadly can still technically carry. Deadly is not you know, a weak player by any means, and he might just show us that right there. As Avian and him get the kill onto
yoinked.
Legions. And by the way, Hatrix is taking towers topside, and bot side as well. There's also a Gnar taking towers. So Dusty losing their mid laner, who's their primary wave clear, while they're being sieged in the side lanes, is probably not opportunistic.
I think they're going towards Baron because if you look at the bottom of the map, Orome has a lot of pressure. He also has his TP available. Dusty have to play without their mid lane for another 10 seconds. And they also have to face check that. BTXL might as well fight them.
Yeah, the Swole Seeds actually dodge. Flaxish can jump over the wall with this Blast Cone, looking to charge up for the Flawless Duet. Gets onto 2 members. The flash comes in as the Lilting Lullaby is there. Legions will find Deadly, and Deadly's going to get cooked. This is Dusty, who found themselves 2 kills of shutdowns there. But now Hatrix and Orome are here, and Legions has to flash over the wall. Hatrix shuffles Legions back, and Legions will lose his life. Health bars on Dusty are very low, but Flaxish is still okay. He's going to get stunned up for the moment. Flawless Duet connects onto 2 members. Hatrix looking to join up with the rest of the team. Orome nard out, can look for that opportunity as he jumps back, looking for the slam. The Gore Drinker heal is going to be there. The wallop, the builder toss, and now it's Chelm taking so much damage as Hatrix jumps in forwards, has to flash back out one more time. He's taking a lot of damage from Hoyes. Getting to find himself the kill. Find himself another Hatrix. What the hell was that?
Oh my god, Hatrix went huge on that fight. Oh no,
he's on the wall. He's gonna die.
Him.
No.
Oh!
Hatrix lives. Orome gets it. It's the ace. Oh, it's so doomed.
The 2 solo laners for BTXL coming in clutch. And I don't know what it is with you and me. By the way, Heatbrain, when we're casting together, Hatrix seems to be popping off every single time. I think we had a moment like this in the last split as well. We just randomly alone gets a 1v3 triple kill. But again, came so clutch. Well. Yeah, it was on Azir as well. That is very true. Again, BTXL pulled the trigger on a very dangerous Baron because their HP bars went way too low because their level is too low and they had to tank the Baron. And as you can see here, Advin, who's the front line, is very, very low. Flaxus has a beautiful blast going straight into the backline, which is very key together with the Lilia ultimate, and they completely decimate the 2 carries. ADC and jungler instantly down. We have more.
Deadly gets himself 1. The 4th shot's going to come in. Hoy's able to dodge away on that one, but Hoy's is getting cooked, and Marcoon lands the spear. Legion's being chased down by Orome. Orome about to gnar out, and there's the double kill for Marcoon. Now they pull in another with the Magnet Storm, and it's a 4th killed up here for XL. They're going to take the towers. They've got the Baron buff, and I think this might be game trouble. The Death Timers, they're not that long, but
no,
I think XL still a little too far ahead right now.
Yep, they have 5 members still up and available. They've got everything in their kits. They have the Baron up minions running in. They can choose to take the top lane inhibitor, but why do that? You've got 20 seconds on the only member that can actually wave clear by Flaxis.
I think this might be it. 24 minutes on the clock. Chelm may just be padding the KDAs here as Deadly gets himself a double kill. Hatrix kind of inches KDA a little bit, and now the railgun's in. The health bars are a little bit low on XL. Did they just lose to the Nexus? Hoyes is going to try and do something here, and that is XL having to get running away. But Dustin continues to chase. Here comes Orome, a free-man Gnar into the spear. They didn't lose to the Nexus. Dusty got baited. It's the old switcheroo. 24 minutes on the clock, and XL get the ace, get the win.
Oh, that reminded me of we had them in the first half because that's exactly what it looked like for Dusty right there. He's like, this is the comeback, boys. As long as the Nexus stands, we can just run them down, and Orome slaps a big fat nope into their face. That was so beautifully played. And even though Hatrix went completely unhurt in the entirety of this game, that Baron play, that 2v5 between him, Orome, and the entirety of Dusty is what completely sealed the deal. And you can see sort of the difference between the lower bracket and the upper bracket of that specific division that BTXL are in. And they're honestly looking like a different beast. And even though Fnatic can be, you know, cocky all they want and say, it's easy for us, like BTXL has never beat us, we're their kryptonite, whatever, I'd be really scared to face that BTXL.
Well, I'm really excited to hear what Baby Rage and the gang have to say about that one. But before, we are going to have to throw to a quick break, so we'll see you in a second.
education, other kinds of wealth. We found this animation, luck was a conversation, pictures on a shelf. People say we are just what we do. It's just a stage. So we go on, and the lights are so strong. Just have to make this sound. We broken ground, it's a countdown. We go on. Go on. Oh, oh. Life is an invitation, a soapbox imagination. Use it while you can. A handheld illumination, LCD appellation. Show up is the plan. Oh, they say we are just what we do, and it's all a stage. So we go on, and the lights are so strong. Just have to make this sound. We broken ground, it's a countdown. We go on.
We're nearly in sync, but not in step just yet. When you time that look, you know this can't be second best. It's all in the timing. There's not a right way or a wrong way. It's just a short way or the
Well, XL came in and they've been looking to establish themselves as the first seed. It doesn't really feel like anybody can contest them, and it has been the case here with Dusty. And unfortunately for Dusty, that does hit their playoff chances a little bit. As we said, every game does count here. But of course, they still have work to do to avoid relegation also. So we'll see how what happens a little bit further down the line. Before we kind of break that game down a little bit, I do have Arome here to chat to. So I'm going to bring Arome in. Hey, Arome, how are you?
Hey, doing really good, man.
Good. Got a couple of questions for you, and I think some of them a little bit related to this game, some of them not. The first of which is that Nara Aurelia matchup. This is something that we saw earlier today. Nile picked Aurelia as a counter into Nar and lost, and then kind of lost. He was freezing for ages, but kind of lost. And then obviously then you saw Flaxius pick Aurelia into Nar. What do you think of that matchup in the current state of the meta? Is it as as Aurelia favored as maybe it used to be, or is Nara a bit better at dealing with it?
I mean, I think Irelia is in a really overtuned spot right now in terms of pure 1v1 laning. So it's more of a matchup where you win lane, but you are way less useful than Gnar, like in team fights or even on side lane. Because if Gnar ever catches you without your stacks up, you just die. So it's more of a I'll feel good about myself for winning lane, but then I'll lose the game kind of matchup.
Okay, right. And obviously you've come from a position. So apologies if you can hear the baby rage in the background. It's my son. You came from a background of being an LEC. I talked to Forbidden a bit about this as well, in terms of like making that transition and kind of having to, I guess, prove yourself once again. What has that journey been like for you? Like kind of sort of taking a step back, coming back to European regional levels, obviously looking to make your way through European Masters and prove yourself again.
For me, it's more of a fight with myself rather than trying to prove something to someone. Last year, I kind of stopped enjoying the game, and my happiness was on a really low level. And my goal for this year, my objective is to find enjoyment in the game and be happy. And as long as I have those things and I keep improving as a player, then it doesn't matter. I could be in Regional League for 3 more years. As long as I have those things, then I'm happy.
I'm really good. I really do hope you find sort of that drive and happiness for the game again. It's obviously really important. I asked Febby this question as well. Being someone who's had such experience at the highest level, do you feel a pressure to lead? Like, do you feel a pressure to sort of work with players that are maybe less experienced, like Markoon, for instance, who hasn't had as much experience? Do you feel a pressure to lead them, or are you just kind of happy to slot in wherever the team needs you?
No, I'm just happy to slot in whenever the team needs me. I think with experience, you grow a lot as a person, and that's where I feel these younger players like Markoon don't do as well as experienced players in being a good teammate rather than just being a good player. And I try to slot in these kind of situations, but I don't try to take the lead because I'm more experienced or anything like that. I don't see it that way.
No, of course. And obviously you're now looking towards firmly first place in Group A. Obviously you're now looking towards the European Masters and the NLC. I chatted to Fnatic a little bit, and I kind of gauged how they felt they were doing and how they would match up against you. And they basically felt that, XL, easy. We're going to 3-0 them in the finals, won't be a problem. Do you feel like you're going to give them a bit more of a run for their money than that?
I mean, it's weird because if you asked me, I would answer the same as they did.
I won't get you to say any more. I will leave it at that. I think that's a good enough answer for me. I'm looking forward to that matchup if we get to there. The odds are that we likely see that Fnatic XL matchup again. Things can obviously go wrong, but at the end of the day, it has been the matchup in the finals for the last however many seasons we've had of UKLC and NLC. But Orome, thank you so much, and thank you for your really honest answers. They're really lovely to hear. And again, I really hope that this year you find yourself and you find League of Legends, happiness again, and hopefully we get to see you back in the LEC one day.
Thank you very much.
I think that was some really good answers as well. Like I think it is difficult. You could see that. I think interestingly, I don't want to get too much into this because it's not really my place, but there was definitely a difference about how Febby potentially felt about his position in a European regional league compared to how Orome is viewing it. They've got very different perspectives on what they're designed to do at this level, and it's really interesting to see players that, because we haven't had that before. I actually talked with Fnatic at length, like a little bit about how the European Masters has completely changed the professional scene in Europe and how we're having players hit the LEC and actually almost challenging veterans year on year, and even players like Orome who came from the European Masters just a year ago, realistically, being challenged again, for those spots. And I think it's a lot of pressure on these guys' shoulders to continue to prove that they're still the best, and it's very interesting to kind of see how that's changed the dynamics. Look, we could have a whole podcast on that topic though. Let's have a look at one of the plays from this game. I think I got Professor Gulborg for this, so let's bring it in.
You need to stop overusing that. We can't all be professors every time there's a telestrator in front of us. No,
this is the professor segment.
Shut up. This is my segment. You're the host. Shut up. We're playing the clip. All right. So we're back into a normal situation here on the map. All right, Xcandrel, I'll actually bring you in. What do you call this situation on the map state? I'll give you a hint with some arrows on the mini map. How many members do we see? What is this?
1-3-1, mate.
Yeah, it is, Xcandrel, it is. So
why are you talking to me like I'm a dunce? I'm legit. I understand the game.
Yes.
He's almost challenger in Wild Rift. Yeah. Come on, cut him some slack.
All right, sorry that. This is completely ruining my segment. Follow up from that was Scoundrel was saying that he was challenger in Wild Rift, and then I asked him, "Are you actually
I
challenger?"
didn't say I was challenger. I said I was
He did.
almost
He lied about his
challenger.
rank. He was insecure. Let's play the clip. You know who else? Who else is
my
feeling
God.
kind of insecure? Dusty here with 4 members up in the mid lane. So pay in mind, there's 4 members here. You're against 3. And you're trying to help out Legions with a push-up, but he's still getting caught. And these are kind of the situations where BTXL are punishing you every time that Dusty's making an overstep. We take a look onto the rest of the map, and because you had to invest 4 members in the top side or in the mid, Hatrix gets to bot side. Meanwhile, that has been reacted. He's out of there. Bot side's feeling the pressure, and instantly they all turn towards Baron. Now, that is not part of the play. They will get Baron after a bit of Billy Hill. I don't know what you call it, whatever that.
Any hill, mate.
You know what? Whatever. I tried. I really tried. I guess I'm just that bad. You can call me a bit self-defecating, but yeah.
Okay. I just want to give some context. I was teaching in the break. I was teaching Goldberg a new phrase, self-deprecation, and he didn't hear me, so I repeated it, and I told him it was self-deprecation.
What does that mean?
He just said it.
It means
What does it
you're pooing
mean?
yourself. It means you're pooing yourself. That's what it means. Defecation means to poo. So you just told me. You just told everyone that you pay. Okay, right. I'm going to break.
Oh my
See you. Go.